Hey guys, this is Kristen from KristenCoaching.com. Thank you for watching my video today. We're going to be discussing the signs of an unhealthy relationship. We're going to get right down to it. A lot of times couples don't really understand or recognize that they're actually in a very dysfunctional, unhealthy relationship. It's important to know that you're in one of these types of relationships so you can do something about it now before it's too late, before you continue down this path and you're unhappy and it becomes even more unhealthy, and you get to this point where you just feel like emotionally stuck and you don't know what to do. So we're just going to shed some light and some awareness that you are in an unhealthy relationship and that you're in an unhealthy and dysfunctional relationship pattern. You can do things about it now to help change and make things better. I am an optimist. I always have been, and I know there's things that you can do to improve the relationship. So you can watch all of my other videos that I have that have to do with healthy relationship skills and tools that you can use to better your relationship. But you need to know what aspects are making it unhealthy in the first place. So let's identify them for you. Before we dive into it, please subscribe to my YouTube page if you haven't already, okay? You'll get a notification pop up every time I make a new video for you. Okay, so we're going to be 10 signs of an unhealthy relationship. Let's dive into it. Sign number 1, you need to ask permission to hang out with other people. You need to ask for permission from your partner if you want to hang out with other people. That's a huge sign your relationship is unhealthy. If you need to ask permission, if you're not allowed to do things because your partner isn't letting you, that's a sign of some possessiveness that's going on, probably most likely some jealousy issues. You are your own person. You are independent. You are able to make your own decisions. Now, I'm not saying that it's not necessarily a good thing to, tell your partner, hey, I'm going to be hanging out with so-and-so tonight. Just wanted to let you know that. I mean, I think that's fine. You got to communicate it. But to ask permission to be able to do things or not do things, you can't be asking permission. I just don't like that. And I think a lot of people in relationships really feel trapped and they feel like they're not allowed to do anything without their partner's approval. And I just think that that's definitely an unhealthy dynamic. So I'm just going to throw that one out there first and foremost. Number 2. You question where your significant other is when you're not together. Again, this is another sign of trust that you don't have in the relationship. You don't trust that your significant other says where he or she is, where they say they are. If you're not together and you can't physically see them, you don't believe what they're telling you. Not a good sign. You need to be able to really trust and know that your significant other is where they say they are. And if you're constantly questioning that, it's a sign of an unhealthy dynamic. Number 3, your significant other is critical of you and criticizes you. So if you're feeling criticized, if you're feeling put down on a daily basis or consistently, that's just not good. In a healthy relationship, you want to be praising each other. You want to be making comments that are loving and adoring and nice. But if you're feeling criticized and that your partner is critical of you, definitely unhealthy dynamic going on, and it's important to recognize that. Tip number 4, you constantly stick up for your significant other to your friends or your family. Look, I definitely think that, there are times that you can have a very healthy dynamic and for some reason maybe your family or your friends don't approve for whatever reason. But oftentimes if you are justifying what your partner is doing or not doing to your friends and family and you're constantly doing that over and over again, that's usually a sign that you guys are having some type of an unhealthy dynamic. Because at the end of the day, normally your family and your friends want what's best for you and they can see that you're not in a healthy situation. So oftentimes they actually don't approve of the relationship. So you find yourself being like, oh, he's a great guy, or she's great, she's loving, you're justifying your relationship to other people. You're sticking up for your partner for other people. It's one thing to do it to maybe one person in the relationship who has some, or in your family or friend group that has some type of a quarrel with your significant other. But if it's a lot of people, if it's everyone telling you, hey, I really don't support your relationship, and you're sticking up for your other half on that, really can be a sign that you're in an unhealthy dynamic that you're just not seeing. Tip number 5, that's you're in an unhealthy relationship, is that if you're sad and anxious a lot, if your partner is making you cry, if your partner is making you feel shitty, if you're feeling really, really anxious all the time and you don't know why, oftentimes that can just be a sign that your relationship is not going well, and it's unhealthy dynamics, and it's making you unhappy. That is a really big deal, and it's important to understand that. So pay attention to how you're feeling a lot with your significant other. And if you're feeling anxious or worried, you're afraid you're gonna have another fight again, you're afraid your significant other is gonna get mad at you again, you feel like you're walking on eggshells in your relationship, unhealthy signs, not okay. You got to do something about that now. Tip number 6, your relationship is unhealthy, is that your significant other just doesn't care about your feelings. You could be crying in front of them, you could be, just feeling really sad or nervous about something or scared or whatever, and your significant other just doesn't care and isn't supporting you, couldn't care less, isn't giving you that emotional support you need. Unhealthy dynamic, okay? You are in a partnership. You guys are a team. You guys should be caring about each other's feelings. That's really, really important. If you're not going to be that emotional support for each other, what are you guys doing? That's not healthy. That's not good. You got to be each other's backbones and rely on each other emotionally. So if your partner's not being supportive of your feelings and doesn't care about you, huge, huge red flag, okay? Number 7, that your relationship is unhealthy, is that you're questioning your relationship a lot. You're questioning whether or not you want to be in it. You're questioning if he or she is the right one for you. So if you're constantly just, wondering if this is right for you and if you should be in this relationship, oftentimes you have a lot of unhealthy dynamics going on. And that really is a symptom that your relationship isn't going how you want it. So that's okay to be questioning it. You just have to be real with yourself and know, okay, I'm obviously questioning it because I'm not happy. I'm obviously questioning things because I'm not feeling fulfilled and I'm not getting my needs met. So just be real with yourself of why you are questioning it. I think that's really important. Tip number 8, why your relationship is unhealthy, is that your significant other controls everything about the relationship. Your significant other is just controlling. Your significant other is telling you what you can do, what you can't do, making the decisions for you. You're just feeling controlled, and you're feeling like you don't have a lot of power in the relationship. That's just a sign of an unhealthy dynamic. So you need to have power in your relationship as well. You need to make decisions. You need to feel good about the decisions that you make. It's just really important. So that's all about healthy dynamics, is having that partnership and that team, making decisions and making active efforts to contribute to the relationship. But if only one person is being controlling and the other person is just taking a back seat and being really submissive, definitely not a good sign. Tip number 9, that your relationship is unhealthy, is that you're getting blamed for everything that goes wrong in the relationship. That's definitely a huge red flag, because if your significant other is not taking personal responsibility for anything he or she does wrong, that's not a good sign, okay? Nobody is perfect, and every single person in the relationship is gonna make mistakes, 100%. So if your significant other is always blaming you, pointing the finger at you, you did this, you caused me to get mad, you do this, and therefore that's why I go off on you, that's why, I behave how I behave. Not good at all, you guys, not good at all. You have to know that if you're always being blamed for something, that is a sign that your significant other really is not being able to take personal responsibility for their actions, their behaviors, and it's just, that creates a very unhealthy dynamic, because that also is going to bring your self-esteem down in the relationship, because you're going to believe it. You're going to feel like you're making every single mistake in the relationship and that you're doing everything wrong. Not saying that, I'm sure you're not perfect, and I'm sure you do make mistakes, but you're not the only person that's making the mistakes in the relationship. That's impossible. If your significant other is yelling at you or being degrading to you or putting you down, that's a mistake. Yes, there might be things that happen that trigger your partner to be doing those behaviors, but at the end of the day, it's their behaviors that they're choosing to do, and that is a mistake that they're making. They are losing control. They are choosing to be mean. They're choosing to be disrespectful. That is on them. That is not on you. So again, if you're feeling blamed for a lot of things in your relationship, huge red flag, things are unhealthy. Last but not least, sign number 10, your relationship is unhealthy, that you are the one that's always apologizing to your partner, but your significant other is not apologizing back. Again, this goes with the responsibility in the relationship. Both people have to apologize. Both people need to take responsibility for what they do wrong, talk about what they could do better in the future. And if you're the first one to always say sorry, if you're the only one to always say sorry, it's just an unhealthy dynamic that your partner needs to be doing the same thing as well. Okay, so just stop that dynamic. I mean, yes, I think it's great that you're taking personal responsibility and you're trying to squash things and you're just saying I'm sorry so you can move on. But if your significant other is never doing that, it's just not good. It's not healthy. They're never going to grow. They're never going to learn unless they could take personal responsibility for their behaviors as well. Okay, so those are the 10 signs that your relationship really is on an unhealthy level and on an unhealthy dynamic. And it's important to do something about these things now before it's too late, before you feel unhappy and unsatisfied any longer, because you deserve to be happy and fulfilled in your relationship. So if you have any questions or comments, write them below, please, 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 and I'll get back to you as soon as I can on that. You can email me at kristen@kristencoaching.com if you want some more privacy in your questions that you have for me, and I'll get back to you via email as soon as I can, okay? So this is Kristen from kristencoaching.com, and thank you so much for watching my video today. Bye.